Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a 2008 Ferrari 430 Spider. But first and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to Harrison Imports for giving me some time with this 430. Check out their inventory in the link below. Let's get straight into the video. So under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 4.3 liter V8 that goes through the F1 transmission. You can also get a 6-speed manual with the 430, but those are a lot rarer compared to these F1 cars. And then in terms of the power outputs, it's good for 490 horsepower and then 342 pound-feet of torque. And then aside from the specs and all of that, it's really cool to see how exposed everything is in the 430. You guys know I've reviewed a 458 Spider, and this you can just see so much more. So first off, you can see everything with the exhaust, and then we'll go over the tips a little bit later. But yeah, you can see kind of everything, how it comes out there. And then with the engine itself, just so beautiful. Obviously to see the mid-engine layout and all of that. But yeah, it's just everything is exposed, and that's exactly what you want in a supercar. Now here's the front trunk in the 430, which is actually surprisingly practical. I'm surprised by just the overall size here with the front trunk area. And you can see this has all of the original Ferrari stuff here. You can see you've got like the little bag there for the owner's manual and everything, and they even give you a toolkit and all that. I think it's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, it's just interesting to see all of this here in the front trunk area. And then you can see one of the filters there just fully exposed. But yeah, that's the whole front trunk section. Now let's go over the front end of the 430. So first off, we've got our signature Ferrari logo front and center, and then coming down to the lights themselves, I think the lights actually look really good. And then also you've got the accent lighting there around the side, and then we have the venting here in the front. Here's kind of a closer look on all of that. And then you can see there in the middle portion as well, that's actually for airflow to go through. Another cool design touch, but obviously it's also functional, which is really important. And then aside from that, something I think is interesting is notice you have the body line here from the front trunk, and then you have the separate paneling here where the headlights are on, and then you have again the separate line for the bumper. I think that all looks kind of interesting. Most cars will kind of have everything as a single piece, but this, it's like all separated, and so you have a bunch of different lines, so it kind of again lends to a different, unique look. Now coming on the side here, we've got two 25mm tires wrapped around 19-inch wheels in the front, and then in the rear we have two 85mm tires, again wrapped around 19-inch wheels. That's one of the biggest disparities I've ever seen in a car in terms of the front and rear tire setup. But aside from that, you've got the classic silver look here with the wheels themselves on the 430. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. And then you've got the giant red brake caliper. Again, another kind of like distinct Ferrari feature is just always having those red brake calipers. And then we've got the Ferrari crest there on the side. And then notice you've got that for the turn signal, another neat little design touch. And then just notice here with the venting there on the front end. And then aside from that, again, something interesting that I've kind of found here with the car, sorry about the camera focusing, but again, notice here with kind of like how the door panel and everything, like how that's all integrated into the side, and you have like a separate panel here at the bottom. Again, I think that's pretty unique and interesting. And then notice we've got more venting here on the back, and then down below as well. And then got more badging here, and yeah, just seeing the difference in width between the front tire, or sorry, the rear tire and then the front tire rather, just crazy. And then here's your full side view with the Spider, which actually looks pretty good even with the top up. Now with the top down, it's gonna look significantly better, but still, I think even with the top up, it actually looks pretty good for being a convertible. Now here's the back end of the 430. So first off, notice that you've got these signature circular lights that are on pretty much every Ferrari ever. Look absolutely fantastic, and whenever you see these at night, you know it's a Ferrari. And then again, we've got more logos here so that everyone knows that it's a Ferrari, even though they can already tell by the car itself. And then I love the look of the exhaust tips here on the back, and then look at this diffuser here. This thing is absolutely crazy, really aggressive, looks really good. And yeah, overall, the back end of this car, just look at that. So notice here with the mirror, it says F430, which I think is pretty cool. They actually show you the model there on the mirror, but overall, I think the mirror is really nicely integrated. It doesn't look tacked on like a lot of cars. It actually goes with the overall theme. Now, of course, this has your signature Ferrari spec red with the tan interior. So first off, you've got leather over the entire door panel, and then you've got stitching that goes all around as well. And we have more leather here in this area, and then notice that is for the lock, which is pretty interesting. We actually have frameless windows, which I mean makes sense since it's a convertible, and that's pretty standard. But yeah, we've got that for the door panel, and then notice we have the Ferrari logo right here. This is actually the release here for the rear on it, which it's in a pretty interesting place because you have to have the door open to be able to actually open up the rear to be able to access the engine. Now let's pop into the rest of the interior. So first off, I love the design here with the seats. Notice again, you've got the Ferrari crest right there at the top, and then just overall design here with the black and the tan looks really good. And then yes, the seats are power adjustable. And then here's a look at the pedals down below, nice metallic pedals. Now you actually have to have the car not fully on, but at least the electronics on to use these controls here for like the gas cap, for example, or to open up the front trunk, which again is pretty interesting. But the thing that's more interesting is you have to have the car on to use those controls, but then this latch right here is completely mechanical where you don't have to have the car on. So here's the steering wheel in the 430. You've got the black leather at the top and at the bottom with the perforated leather here on either side, and then obviously the Ferrari logo front and center. But notice pretty much everything's on the steering wheel, right? You've got the horn button right here on the steering wheel, the stop start button, the drive mode select. We've got the column mounted paddle shifters here on the back again for that F1 transmission. But unlike the 458, you actually have a stock there for the windshield wipers and then a stock there for the lights and turn signals, so those weren't yet integrated onto the steering wheel at this point. We've got the beautiful Ferrari tachometer right here, and you can see just how high the red line is in the 430. Definitely a cool feature. And notice this car has exactly 17,001 miles. But aside from that, we do have the different drive modes that you can go through, and notice that it'll actually show it here. So you actually have like a snow mode right here. I'm pretty sure this is kind of like your weather mode. If I might be wrong, let me know if I'm wrong in the comment section below. And then you have your sport, which is kind of like your normal mode. And then you have race. And then if you hold the drive mode select, then you pretty much turn everything off, which is absolutely crazy, but you can do that if you so desire. But yeah, that's pretty much everything for the drive modes and everything for the center tack. And also I think this is interesting here with the gas, like how they animate that. Now quickly, I really like this portion on the 430. So it says F430 right here. It's carbon fiber. You've got the 3 vents there in the center. All the vents here in the 430 are actually circular, which is a nice touch. And then notice the whole dash is all leather, like everything is leather here in the 430. But I just think this portion right here with all the circular vents there in the center, I think that looks really good. So this is actually the radio area. Obviously it's an old school radio. Again, this car is from 2008, but you actually have voice command, which is, I think, a cool feature. Window controls are actually in the center. It took me a second to find that out. It's one touch down with the windows, what I noticed, but then you have to hold it to go up. So it's only one touch down, but not one touch up. And then we've got the climate controls down below that. And then notice there's more carbon fiber all around that whole area. And then we've got leather down here. So, I mean, at least all that looks nice. And even the passenger area where you rest your feet, they've got a metallic plaque just because, well, it's nice. So I'll show you guys how this works a little bit later, but you've got the reverse and then you've got the auto right here. Notice it says F1 on it because this is the F1 transmission, and then leather all around all of it, even like that bottom portion's leather, which is interesting. The mirror adjustments right here. And this is Bose roof open. I'm pretty sure this basically changes how the sound system interacts if you have the roof open, and so that's what you press that down for. Again, if I'm wrong, then let me know, but I'm pretty sure this is for, again, the sound system if you have the roof open, and that's why it says like that. Anyways, cigarette lighter right here, and then we've got the control there for the roof, and then this is for the window, and then we've got the e-brake right here, which is absolutely massive, covered in leather, and then you have extra storage space right there, and then even here in the back we have a little bit of storage space right there. And then I love how they carry the red into the interior, and then notice with the roll bars if you have the whole top section down. Now let me show you in real time how to work all of this. So first off, if you want to go into first gear, then you just press the one paddle, and notice it says auto, but if I want to go into manual, I press that auto button, and now I'm in full manual mode. But if you want to shift itself, then auto mode. And then if you want to go into reverse, again, just press the reverse button. Kind of have to hold it down, and then it'll beep. It'll go into reverse. And then if you want to go from reverse back into, again, drive technically, then you press that. Now I can't do this because I'm holding the camera, but if you want to park the car, what you have to do is you have to hold both of the paddles down at the same time, so you pull both of them towards you, and then make sure the e-brake's up. The car will go into neutral, and then that's what you have for park, is just in neutral. And sorry, it's really dark here at the top portion, but I do have to mention this, that the visors even have a leather covering on them, which definitely unique, definitely interesting. And then you actually do have a mirror dimmer here, which is built in. But yeah, even this is leather, but the visors are pretty small, so they're almost useless in a sense. So opening the door feels really cool because you pull this latch and then it pulls the window down, and then you have to pull it fully and then you can open the door. I think that's pretty cool for like a door opening procedure. Now as for the top, all we have to do is again just pull this switch right here, and then notice it'll fully lower down the windows. And then what it'll do is it'll do the rest of the top. So notice how it folds the top back right there. So notice that this next part's coming up right there. So that's gonna pull the top in. So you can continually hold the button. The reason I did this in two parts is to kind of show you guys everything a little bit better. And then it'll lock into place. And you have to wait, there's a little graphic right here. And then once it does that, then that'll let you know that the top is fully down. And then here's a quick look at what the 430 looks like with the top down. Definitely looks significantly better, in my opinion, with the top all the way down. I just think it's definitely this like cool, unique look. And again, from every single angle, I think they really designed this just to have the top down. So if you buy this car, just drive it with the top down all the time, especially with that right there behind both of the seats. I think that looks really good from a visual perspective. But yeah, overall, this car with the top down, this is definitely where it's at. And I'll give you guys a front angle. And then there's what it looks like from the front end with the top down. Yeah, again, I think this is definitely how the 430 should look. And then if you want the top back up, all you have to do is just press this, hold it, and then notice it'll come up with that graphic right there. And then it'll do the same thing, have that pop open. Definitely takes a second. It's cool to see it like fold forward. It's kind of weird seeing it that close. And then that top portion has to go back into place. And then this will fold all the way over. And then wait for it. And then we're good to go. And then you do have to roll up the windows, so you just have to press the two window buttons right there. And yeah, look at that Raptor. Now let's get in some things up for our video on this 2008 Ferrari F430 Spyder. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to Harrison Imports for giving me some time with the F430. Check out their inventory in the link below. I'll see all of you guys in the next video.